In the Romanian lands, a first attestation of a bizarre phenomenon comes from the year 1517 on November 8 and is mentioned in the Moldavian Chronicle. They stayed for a long time and again they hid in the air, when Trifala came with the Hungarian army on Bogdan Voda. During the attack of Mihai Vitezul on October 15, 1595 on the Ottoman-occupied town of Targovist, a bizarre comet was mentioned, which was set in the sky above the Wallachian camp for an hour or two, then disappear without a trace. The most important UFO cases of the last century in Romania are the following. Apuseni Mountains, 1904. In 1904, in the Apuseni Mountains, in the summer of one night, a peasant with his chariot in the field, awake, saw, frightened, a wheel of fire descending from the air over the mountains, approaching him, turning. When he gets to him, the wheel of fire turns into man and man with man looked at each other long without saying a word. Ghost planes, 1913. In 1913, another UFO phenomenon was reported in Romania. For a month, 23 reported cases of unidentified round flying objects were emitting a very strong light. The investigations revealed that the UFOs had flown over military units located near the Romanian cities of Foxani, Brăila, Iași, and Targovist. The events were not avoided by the weather press. The newspapers at the time reported on these mysterious events, even stating that the soldiers recruited in those units tried to chase the bizarre flying saucer with cannonballs. The position of the Ministry of Defense at that time, 1913, was an impartial one, the army officials stating that it was not about UFOs, but about a series of Russian ghost planes that went on reconnaissance. The Flying Triangle, 1967. In 1967, a flying triangle was parked for an hour in the sky of Bratsaska, being watched by several locals. A year later, over the Banat region, it flew over a flying triangle for 38 hours, being seen by several people, including meteorologists and engineers. Băsău Forest, 1968. In 1968, a discoidal flying object was photographed moving slowly, at low altitude, over the Băsău Forest, near Cluj. Going to relax with his friends in a clearing in the heart of the forest, a man noticed in the sky a large silver object, round, flattened, moving in the direction of NWSE, which brought with a turned plate. The man took out his camera and took some snapshots. The pictures taken then were evidence of the appearance of a UFO. The photographs were analyzed by many European experts who confirmed that the photographic plates did capture a UFO. Poplar Valley, 1972. On one of the nights between September 2 and 6, 1972, the exact date could not be determined, around 24:00-01:00, Vasile Carabas, night watchman at Cap Pozesti, saw, from the Tabașio hill, a shining object, a yellow star with a tail, crossing the sky, gliding and landing smoothly in an orchard about 2 kilometers from it, on La Otea hill. Bălea Lac, 1978. One of the most terrifying third-degree encounters took place on September 23 to 25, 1978, not far from the Bălea Lac chalet, as well as one of the rare cases in which people were attacked by unknown entities. The victims, about 20 soldiers in time, were housed in a former cottage near Lake Bălea. Alicani, 1984. On August 23, 1984 at the Alicani military base, an unknown object was spotted by optical instruments, snipers, theodolites. It was ovoid in shape, 2 to 3 m long and 1.5 m wide, and seemed to be made of a shiny, aluminum-like material. Mihail Kogalniceanu Airport, 1988. At 14.14 in October 1988, the radar station serving the aerodrome signaled to the control tower and the flight control point that it was moving in a north-south direction at an altitude of 7,000 meters and a speed of 11,000 km/h. Object, consisting of several elementary objects. Mount Retezat 1993. Members of a group of tourists noticed an intense white light towards the Poplar Valley. Then another, pale blue. After a few minutes, a multitude of bright spots of green, blue, turquoise but also yellow-reddish and pink. They first took the form of an ovoid, located at the top right of the valley, which turned into a well-defined cylinder, followed by a parallelepiped with all sides illuminated, a triangle, and a huge heart-shaped object. Arad, 1994. In June 1994, a bright, perfectly round, very large disk was observed, with a transparent dome, floating 3 meters above the wheat field. At the door of the ship stood 2 individuals with human faces and beards and slanting eyes, and others moving their heads. Sir Testy, 1996. On the night of June 8 to 9, 1996, a UFO was floating above the road and 3 unusual-looking men were moving beside it. The object was discoidal, had a diameter of about 5 to 6 meters and about 2 to 2.5 meters high. Oto Penny Airport, 1997. In July 1997, operators in the control tower at Oto Penny Airport noticed the appearance of a circular light, located to the west of the airport, between Buftea and Corbinca. Through the binoculars, it was seen that in the middle of the circular spot was a horizontal strip colored in white, orange, and red, colors that turned into each other. They appeared to be 2 globes of different sizes, glued together, moving in a strictly delimited area. Ramnica Valsa, 2004. On May 5, 2004 it was observed the passage with relatively high speed of an object in the shape of a composite body or a group of 4 lights placed symmetrically on a slightly ascending trajectory, for 1.41 seconds. Terzii Plane, 2007. On October 31, 2007, during a training flight at Air Base 71 near Campia Terzii, the cockpit of the plane was broken following contact with 4 unidentified flying objects.